process of building a YouTube application specifically for our internal workflows so that we spend less time searching for stuff in the YouTube interface and more time actually doing what we need to, like responding to people who've created comments, tracking what works for us and what doesn't. So far, what I've done is I've really focused on this left panel here. We've got some really nice functionality that I'm actually super stoked about in terms of being able to filter by time and sorting by likes and views and all this other fun stuff. But specifically, I want to spend a bunch of time seeing if I can tighten this up and get more information in there. So what we've done so far is we've actually broke these things out into web components. So specifically, we've broken out our CSS into a global CSS, and we have created the video card as a separate web component. I'll show you that here as well. Specifically, you can see that we've grabbed the style sheet locally, and then the other script, and then this has been pulled out. And just to be perfectly clear, like this is literally the published version of this. So we use these controls here to publish this, and the resulting URL, which I pull from here, is literally that which gets published and which is actually gets pulled into here. We're pulling this out of localhost because we're actually just working on this technology right now. It'll be deployed in production in a couple of weeks. So what I need to be able to do is I literally want to put right here, I want to put an application that is what this dude looks like. So I could literally work with him here and view it as a small form right here. It's really been the dream of mine ever since literally starting this platform, because we work on all these controls and the way we work on them is like literally in the application itself. And there's no need to do that. I just literally need to work on this, work on its flow, work on these buttons. Like I want to work on them as a unit. So I would love to do that right here for this. So in order to do that, this is just like a big honking JavaScript file. I actually need to provide it with the data that it needs to do what it does. And the only the only application that has that is this application. So I'm going to try to do something a little crazy here. So let's see if this works. Okay. And you can see the step here where I actually did the breaking out into the web components. All right. So what platform? Okay. So I'm going to use my Charm platform command. This is the same as the application assistant in production, but I'm in development right now. As you can see, we keep the names different. So just in case we don't ever cross the streams between the platforms accidentally. Okay, in theory, what I also want to do here is I'm going to add, so it can't, because all it sees, and I'm in dev, so it's going to be super slow. Sorry about this. We purposely make our dev environment slow so that we can make sure that all the interstitials run, that all the loading animations work and everything else. Makes it a little painful sometimes to work with, but again, it assures the fact that we can test all those things you don't normally get to test in production easily. Again, when you actually look at this source, this is what it is. It doesn't actually know what's in that. It just simply sees that it's there. And again, the same thing with this web component. It just knows that it's there. It doesn't know what the source is. So I'm actually bringing in these two things as reference materials so that I can see them. Okay, let's see what my dude does. Great. And again, this will be a little slow to kick off because it's dev. So again, we get to see the interstitial states that you probably never get to see, which is like, this is the one where it's storing the comments. You get to see that there's quite a bit of a long pause because the way we wanted to design this was to make it no different than if it was another human being. Like imagine the LLM got an email that says that somebody had mentioned him and now he came back and he started writing his stuff. So again, we tried to really preserve the user experience. Is there anything else here that I can show you while this is going on? So these are components that we built within Charm itself, which is again, to me, super, super cool. So I can go and there's no content in this, but there is, which is kind of interesting to show. This is just a component that we're loading from production. This is like a component that we built. So these aren't like you can create a code block like this and write code. But what we did is actually create again, in Charm, we built a thing that allows you to save directly with the files and to publish that information. You can see what those values are here. And again, it's incredible that you can create a tool that's useful to you in the platform for the platform. And in this case, we actually expose what the content is, and that's how this other dude is able to read it, is he looks at the app state of this thing. Okay, so what are we doing here? How should we capture? Okay, so let's answer his questions as we go. Don't know, man. Sorry, most of this video, you just get to watch me type. I would just say, normally I would I would speech to text a lot of this stuff. I would like literally just say it. Sometimes it gets screwed up with the audio recording on these videos. So I usually so sorry, you have to watch me type rather than just me talk, which was what I would normally do. And I would say this is like a normal experience. Normally you get back a bunch of questions. Some of it is just the dude asking because you asked him to ask questions, which is super annoying. Some of it makes sure that you ask the right thing. Sometimes you get some good stuff like this. I completely forgot about the fact that it literally, as you scroll, so that we're not pounding our YouTube account, because there's a quota on the API calls, it loads them as they come into view. So hopefully you saw that loaded after the fact. And what will be neat is we'll get to actually see those loading states when we're working in the harness. Oh, great. And of course it poops. Let's see what and why it pooped here to begin with. And it poops on the first one. Oh, so how do I know that it pooped? So normally you would just turn on auto enable, and it would auto run these things. I'm not specifically doing that now because we're still testing a bunch of stuff, and I can see because the arrow is red from the fact that it pooped. So what I normally do is, this tells you which hunk failed to apply, which is this icon button one, which is this one. So somehow the first one pooped. So what you normally do is you grab this and you see if you can find it here, which you can. So that's weird. Another way. This is a weird thing. Super weird. This isn't matching right. So what this is doing is this is reference, which is this button here. And then it's saying insert a button, but it's missing the fact that this should also be inserted, which then you can actually see the diff. So once you get everything matches, then it'll actually put this in here. So this was just a bad diff. Dudes do that sometimes. We'll admit we don't know why, but they do love to poop the bed sometimes. So we can just execute that. Did you actually stick a button on there? You did stick a button on there. You doofus. Okay, let's see what he does. All right, well, let's watch him do it. Okay, so let me look at the console here. I'm going to clear it just so we can see it as well. I should have left that open. Let's click the button. Let's look at the console. Great. There it all is. 72K worth of data. Holy cow, that is a lot of data. Okay. Rip. I do love those delicious puns. Like, I love the fact that Rip Torn is the name of an actor from the 60s and 70s. The Torn parents must have really loved that. I never bothered to look to see if he had brothers and sisters that have different names. But again, I love delicious puns. What did you just do? Oh, he's literally looking at this is him looking at the console. You can see that he's getting the console data. He only got 50 lines. Well, that was dumb. Well, let's hope he got them all. Let's hope he's not as dumb as he is. Okay, this is probably going to take a little bit because he's like literally now creating the application. I'm going to add a little space down here because he's going to insert it down there when he's done. I'm going to keep this around. I don't want to lose it. What's super cool about this is you can start multiple parallel threads as this is going. So I do that all the time. I'll get while the dude is working on one thing, I'll get my next thread already queued up so that we can get the next process going. And as long as you're not really editing the same application at the same time, because what ends up happening is the diffs will get out of sync if you're change the document out from underneath them, whether you do it or another dude does it. So as long as you're not literally editing the exact same part of the application, you could probably edit different parts of the application. Then it works. I do it all the time, have multiple dudes at the same time doing it. So this dude, well, hopefully this will just work. It did work, which is pretty funny. I don't want to select it. I was supposed to have it selected. Okay, well, that worked. Now the important bit here is to see what in the holy hell it actually did. So we should see the app state, which he didn't do. Okay, that's interesting. And then we'll look at this, and my gut says that yes, he hard-coded the test data in here. Okay, so great. Okay. Oops, Chevy. Few misses. Oops, I was supposed to put that on here. That was a lot of typing again. Sorry about that. You can see what most of my day is spent doing. But again, I would just say first pass, super cool. Super cool. All right, let's see if he gets this right. And what I'm going to do, because I'm a little goofy, everything that the dude does is he does it in your space, so to speak. So in other words, when the dude does something, you can literally Command Z to undo it. So by reloading the page as I just did, if the dude does a bunch of stuff that I don't like, then I can just Command Z out of it and I don't have to think about it. And so in other words, the history reloads every time you reload the page. By reloading the page, if I undo, it will undo all the way to this current state. So yes, we're going to build in some better state mechanisms and so forth in the future, but this was just a really quick way of me doing that. Okay, here we are. Yep, totally missed that. Okay, great. Looking at the web component, fires video. Great. Yes, harness should listen. Yep. Okay, great. Loading state. Initial gets the card data. Analytics loaded. Card gets analytics render. Comments loaded. Card get. Okay, great. Yep. Okay, great. Yep. 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 Existing. Do what's easiest. Okay. Because what's interesting about this amount of code is like, it's not a lot of code, which again, it's funny. If I were to write this, it would take me forever. But once we like chop out like all of this, which shouldn't be in here, then it's like 100 lines of code, which he should just be able to rewrite like without any. So we shall see what he does. Is he going to update it, or is he going to, or it, I shouldn't call it a he, is it going to update it, or is it going to create me a new one? And in preparation of creating a new one, let me get all of, I think it did a bang up job. Oh, and by the way, the fact that this resizes is crazy because these are tiny. So that's something also to keep in mind is we kind of need like a size. I'll have to tell the dude that. Okay, so what did he decide to do? He decided he actually figured it out. Well, good for him. Okay, so he's setting the app state, which is great. So now if I look at this, it should all be in there, which is freaking fantastic. Stellar. And this is great because it externalizes it, which means that we can use it from other contexts, like in other words, in the page. Great, makes it super easy. It's not in the code. Reduces the code footprint down. It also makes it easier for us to extract it, which is also great. And then in theory now, he's just going to do a big fat hairy edit to remove it all. And he's probably going to screw it up, but we'll see what happens. And while that's going on, again, just to kind of talk about this stuff, we're using CodeMirror. What's kind of nice is you can set the type of stuff that you're doing on, whether you're doing an indenting and line wrapping and all that other stuff, which I think is like super convenient. You can change the file names here. And just to show you this, again, this is dev, so it's kind of messy. So I apologize about that in advance, but like you literally see these things in the files. Those are the file names that you have here. So if I change this name, it'll literally change it in the files. And as you see, these are published. And that's, again, exactly what we're doing here is we publish these, and that's how we can access the URLs. All right, he's still going. So let's see what he does. He's probably writing the world's largest diff when he should have just replaced it. It is a big diff. Yep. Okay, did that. He did that. He's just going to remove all of that. He actually got the whole diff right, which is pretty cool. Replace 298 lines. So let's just do that. So we'll see what happens. All right. Well, it kind of sucks. So let's figure out what he did. Okay, great. Great. Okay, let's look at this real quick. Did he actually load? Bummer. Well, you're going to see behind the curtains for a quick second. You know what the problem is? It's here, but I guarantee you that it's not in here yet. So I'm going to have to go back through. Yeah, it's in here. Darn it. Okay. Sorry, we just switched the format of how we get the iframe state, and I was hoping the dude would use it. It's in the prompt, but what's interesting is he used his example here rather than using his other things. What a kind of a bummer. How can we do this really quickly? Okay, so this is probably going to dork us up to holy heck, but we're going to do it now. So in the platform, and this is like, it's crazy the new world that we live in here. So where is our latest updates? Okay, great. So this is our prompt that we just created. Literally, it's text to say what's going on and how it works. But in theory, I should be able to go over here. I should be able to create a new one of these. I should say, take a look below. Okay. I don't even need to do that because it says what's going on. We have changed how it's going. Please update both applications. Okay. So now in theory, this is going to hopefully be crazy by literally copying and pasting some. Also, the fun about development is that we test. So wait, let me finish what I was saying. It used to be to create migrations, you have to write code to write other code and like find and regex and all this other stuff. And now literally we just have a bunch of text that we tell the dude and he's going to go do it. So which is just mind blowing when you think about it. And then as for what you just saw, we put soft limits in place so we can always make sure that we test this functionality in dev. And it's just funny that you got to see what that looks like in this component. So that actually worked. It didn't stop my dude from doing anything. He's still here doing it. But again, you get to see all the stuff that we do in development to make sure that we get everything going. All right, so this dude, he did a whole bunch of stuff, and this is super cool. Let's see what he did here, just because I'm always super curious. Okay, he changed actually quite. Oh, it's good. Like the code this is what we were hoping. As you can see here, we removed 56 lines of code. So we removed about 20 lines of code with the new way that we approach this, which I think is It's just fantastic. So let's run that dude in for a short term while we run all these here. Great. And in theory that worked because it went exactly right to the right place. So that's pretty cool. A lot more updates than I would have thought. And by the way, the error the second time is because it would be trying to apply this hunk again. The reason we do this is that there are sometimes reasons that you want to potentially test something. Like, what if I just went over here and I undid this page and wanted to run it again? That has the opportunity to do that. Okay, so let me see if it was lying to me, because I think it actually lied to me. It didn't. Oh, it did update this as well. Oh, that's super cool. This is so much cleaner than it was before. So you can just do an app state git, and that's how this works. Okay, great. And it worked, which is actually super funny. Okay, so let's see if we don't have. Oh, cool. So that's the loading state. This is the comment state, which I don't know what that. The analytics show up. Super cool. Okay. Well, this is great. Okay, so the migration's done, and that's cool. Now, unfortunately, this dude's going to be super confused because, like, he doesn't know that we just changed stuff out from underneath him. So I got to kind of let him know. Changes. So it's interesting is, like, as you saw here, I have instructions that literally tell the dude, did I already close them now? I literally have instructions that say, like, do this. But what's interesting is he took the example, which was in this application, when he created this one. Super interesting, right? Now, what's even more interesting is that unless I tell him that he updated things, because the way when we build the prompt that is these threads, it's first the system prompt, which is the charm. Then we add the context, which is this document. And then finally, we add this thread. And what's interesting is that because he sees this, the work that he did here in the thread, he will take this as precedence over the fact that even though he sees this current state. So it's typical in most models that even though they're really supposed to listen to their system prompt and everything else, the thing that's closest to where the current time is, which honestly is this, is going to take precedence over the fact that we literally changed this. So unfortunately, I have to literally tell him to, like, ignore the fact that he did this and look at this. So that's the point of this thing. A good thing to keep in mind, because again, you can get a kick in the pants if you change stuff and the dude doesn't know it and he tries to do stuff. So super nice. Okay. Oh, great. Expect. Also, this is peek at this because I don't like the fact that this is on the second row. So what we're going to do is I'm going to look at this. I'm going to look at the controls. Oh, I just made it a grid. Yeah, I wouldn't make it a grid. Honestly, grid, flow. It's crazy that by me saying, am I making sense? Like, it'll actually force them to kind of think about it more, which is kind of interesting. All that I'm rambling here is that if the screen gets, I want this and this all in the same row. He specifically put them on two separate rows. I just want it all in one row. And if it doesn't fit, then it moves to the next row. So hopefully he'll figure that out. And that's why I was asking this. Because in theory, if he doesn't understand it, then he should tell me. Interesting. Oh, this one doesn't have it. Oh, maybe that's the problem. Interesting. So what he's saying is some of these have unanswered comments. Some see any. Oh, that's interesting. Anyway, so the point is that there would be a little number here. So I'm glad it did that. That's super cool. Super cool, by the way. Okay, great. Let's run this. Yay, look at that. Perfect. Perfect. Okay. Great. This is freaking fantastic. Exactly what I want to be able to do this. This is great. Great. Okay, and then what I'm going to do, I'm just going to go here. I'm going to nuke the background. Oops. Nuke. Great. And then make it smaller. Will it work? It does. Look at that. Look at that. That's amazing. I can play with the different sizes. I'm wondering if I should make a control on that so we can play with it. Okay, so I am tickled pink with this. Okay, I think size, center it, separate, because normally when you would do this, like, you only care about the width, right? I only care about how wide this is. The height is what it is. It's based on the width. So let's say you think that this is going to go over. Great. I am just tickled pink with this. This is exactly what I wanted. And I'll show you in a moment what this all turns into. So how high is this? Okay. Okay. The card should stay centered. Got it. Okay. Control type. Great question. I think the slider. Okay. I honestly would not have thought about a slider because I would have been worried about like a full width, but he's right because it makes no sense to have it larger than some large size. Like, there is a max width that this has, and it should just deal with that. So again, that's why I love to ask it to ask questions, because if it would have just did what I told it to do, then that would have sucked. Okay, so he pooped again. So let's see what he pooped on. It pooped on the body one, which is this one. So what I normally do is easy to find. Okay. Oh, he didn't he didn't know that I removed the background. So again, notice that he didn't bother to look that I had removed the background myself. So I removed it here. I should have told him that I updated the document and I didn't. And he didn't look, which is kind of annoying. So in theory, my God, look at that. That is amazing. Okay. And then it means I should make this wider. Okay. Let's go to, oops, sorry. Should be 600 because that's what basically he set it to. And then the height, we can lose a little bit of it. So let's go to 475, 50 maybe. Yeah. Look at that. Look at that. That is super cool. Look at that. Oh my God. I'm like so tickled because you can see what it looks like when it's tiny. And then the question is like, should I move these to multiple lines? Like, ugh, this is exactly why I did this. This is exactly what I want to see as somebody's working on this thing. This is amazing. This is amazing. Okay. So let me just, I'm going to copy this thing and I'm going to freaking paste it right here. Center you. Right. And so again, this is just, I am so tickled. So what's crazy about this now is like, this is literally the source code to this thing, right? That's the dude. And I use because basically where we're going next is I want to be able to fiddle with this stuff here. And then I just literally want to reload it here and then bada bing, bada boom. And then like, I'm like cooking with gas. Again, this is just, this so makes me happy. Like how much, that is amazing. I am going to be able to just rock this thing. Amazing. Okay, let's see what he does. Is he going to give me Christmas? He did give me Christmas. I reload the whole thing. Oh, shoot. I asked for the wrong thing. How funny. Possible? Sanity? Oh, it's cool that he just reloaded the iframe. It's what happens when you don't let the dude ask questions is he just goes and does whatever the hell it is that you think that he should do. Okay. Remove the current microphone down. Yeah? Yeah, sure. Great. You rock. Yes. Shift plus click equals reload. That's crazy. He's amazing. Amazing that you get this functionality. Let's see what happens. This is going to be super cool. Though what we're going to have to do is the gap to 2. It should really shrink this up here. So notice this thing is showing me that I have to save. And sorry, again, it's dev. Everything's slow in dev. Slow. Oh, while that's doing its thing. All right, he did his thing. I'll admit I don't know if that actually did anything. Let's see if it pooped or something. Okay, so don't know if that actually did something. He's a funny dude. Okay, so that reloaded and I have to republish it. So it's kind of annoying that this is what we have to do, but this is what we have to do. So in theory, now if I reload this, you can't see it. Damn it. Let's make it big. This kind of sucks because this process is a little pokey. This is why we want to change up some of the stuff we're doing. Okay, so now if I reload this. Okay, so now you see that it's really big. What's in theory should happen now if I click this is it should get really big. Shift click. Yeah, it got really big. Okay, so that we can kind of go back and forth and see. I won't do it yet. Source or something. So what I'm asking you to do is actually kind of hard because the way that the thing is loaded is it's loaded here. And what I think it's doing is just literally taking what it has and reloading it rather than refetching it. So I have to ask it to do something kind of nasty here. Let's see if it can figure this out. And again, this is like incredible, the fact that I can iterate like this. Yep, once it's defined, you cannot redefine it without reload. Okay, the problem. Browsers want to read it. Okay, great. Okay. That's the problem. Okay. And that's fine. Yeah. Okay. Totally fine. So what he's saying is that if there was like an initial loading animation or something, like this would rerun that state, which is great. And then unfortunately, all we're going to have to do is we're going to have to do the shift reload, which again, it's totally fine that that's a case. It's nice to know what our set of options are. So I did that. This isn't going to change anything, but if I shift reload, then it goes back. And that's like, dude, totally fine. Not a thing to complain about. I'm going to nuke that. I'm going to paste it again. I'm going to center it again. Okay, do we have a space above? Do 2 spaces above and a space above. So what I'm going to do to make sure I don't ever shoot myself in the foot is we have this non-deletable thing here. And I'm going to set it for you. And what that does is I cannot hit delete on this thing. Like I cannot accidentally, oops, even though I just somehow, oh no, okay, there it is. It was just like literally reloading. Like I can't delete that and I can't delete that. So that just prevents me from doing something dumb like selecting it and accidentally hitting delete. So that's what that's for. Okay, so we have a thing. Like I can sit here, I can iterate on this stuff. I won't bore you stuff. You already saw what we could do. So let's move these to like 40. And again, we're going to simplify this process so you don't have to click 2 buttons every time. We're going to make it so that like literally reloading it after you change it's going to work. So you can see though, I can iterate on this one and I can change it there. So I can do the same thing and I can set it back. So what we should do though, and actually what I'm going to do, I think that's it. I think we're done. I think I can, and this is so funny. It's like literally just boom, gone, which feels so weird that we did that, but it is live here, which is exactly what we want. Which is, again, I am so tickled at the fact that I can work on these things in the same environment. That is just beautiful. There's a world too in which I like have this thing and I put them like next to each other so I can literally work within the same visual space. That's interesting. I could also force this thing to push it down so it's bottom justified. But again, all I wanted to show is the fact that we can take an application, we can have it extract the data, we can have it build a new application based on that, and then we can use that to now test our web components live, which is just what an incredible world that this stuff you can do like this. So with that, I will leave you.